If it wasn't actually true, it would be unbelievable. 3 men are alive after their helicopter plunged into the sub-Antarctic Ocean in the pitch black. And to boot, their emergency beacon didn't go off. The 2 pilots from Southern Lakes Helicopters and a St John medic were on a rescue mission to pick up a patient on board a fishing boat. But about 16 hours after their comms went silent, the walking wounded, as they've been described, were found on a beach on the Auckland Islands, about 450 kilometres south of New Zealand. Rescue pilot and CEO of Helicopters Otago, Graham Gale, told reporters today it was a very unlikely tale of survival.
This here was unbelievable. I think, you go to one of the furthest places that we go to in New Zealand, certainly the furthest south in New Zealand that helicopters actually operate. It's a very remote place, and we've always said, if anything ever goes wrong, we can only ever get ourselves out of trouble, and that's really what's happened this time, so, there's been a lot of people in the background. RCC NZ have done a fantastic job. They had the Orion down there early last evening, and the fishing fleet has been fantastic. They had 5 or 6 fishing vessels in the area late last night that responded, and they were still there today when we went down there, so, that was pretty special. To see all those guys out working, and so, and of course, the outcome is just unbelievable. It's an outcome that I don't think anyone really expected. So, I think there's going to be a couple of drinks had tonight.
Lloyd Matheson from Southern Lakes Helicopters was actually supposed to be on the ill-fated flight, but he swapped shifts with a colleague. He says the news today couldn't be better.
We were prepared for the worst, and we've got a really good result. So, absolutely over the moon.
What do you know about what happened?
It'll be subject to an investigation. So all I know is that the aircraft finished up in the water near its intended landing site at Enderby Island about 7:30 last night. We lost communications about 2 minutes out from landing, and as a result of full search and rescue operation swung into action, and great support from the Air Force, who had an Orion overhead during the night, and the fishing industry rallied around, and we had 5 fishing support vessels in the vicinity within 3 or 4 hours of the balloon going up. So we had this great support all around, and following up, we've had huge support from likes of Air New Zealand and the community, and the phone's just gone mad with support, so it's a great outcome.
So where were these guys actually found?
They were found on the main Auckland Island, on a beach close to probably 2 to 3 k's away from the site where the aircraft finished up in the water.
So Lloyd, did they have to swim ashore, or what happened around that?
No, I can't tell you that because we haven't talked to any of the crew yet. They're still on their way back from down there. But they've definitely been in the aircraft in the water, and they've had to get ashore. So, amazing feat. I understand one of our crew was knocked unconscious on entering the water. So to get out of an aircraft that's ditched in the sea at night with no lights, no community around to support them, it's just supports the training that we've put into these unexpected occurrences that front us now and again. So
who got knocked out?
My winch crew, I believe. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about it, because I imagine the water is pretty chilly down there. How are they dressed? What do you think has helped them out in this situation?
Oh, I think all the survival gear, immersion suits, life jackets, EPIRBs. Well, they didn't go off, so we've got to look into that. But the Hewitt training that goes with it, which is part of our requirements. So all those things combined, and the longevity of our crew that have been around for quite a number of years that have worked together. It's obviously been a team effort to get everyone out safely and ashore.
And how are they?
Probably describe them as walking wounded. I believe that they're still en route to hospital. They should be there any time now, so for a check-up. So I think there's some minor injuries, but nothing life-threatening.
So were they sat on the beach overnight, or what did they do while they were waiting to be found?
I can only speculate. I haven't talked to them, but there would be not many places to go down there, so I assume they would have been on the beach overnight. And the weather was not deteriorated during the night. There was scrawly, southerly sort of weather went through early hours this morning, so wouldn't have been comfortable, but I can only speculate.
So their families, I mean, well, had they prepared for the worst, I imagine?
Well, I dealt with them during the night, several occasions, and they were being positive, but thinking that the odds were against everything, particularly at night. So, yeah, I wasn't around when I heard the news, but I could just imagine it would be the same as what happened in the office here when we were working on the outcome. It was just fantastic. Jubilation.
Lloyd, are you surprised that it's turned out this way?
Absolutely.
Why is that?
Just as I said, the circumstances, nighttime in the water, unconscious crewmen, and we've got 3 guys that are around to tell the tale. So, yeah, that's why I'm surprised. I just think it's a great outcome.
God, they must be the luckiest men alive today, that's for sure.
Lotto time, isn't it?
Exactly. Time to go out and purchase a ticket. You said this crew is really experienced. Can you tell us a little bit about them? Would they have found themselves in a situation anything like this before?
I don't believe so, no. But we train for it, and yeah, we're not used to this sort of thing. We always are successful in our operations, and there's something happened that's a bit untoward in this one, and we need to investigate why it's happened.
Do you know what weather conditions were like at around 7:30 last night, where they were?
I believe the weather conditions were good. The aircraft was on the final approach. It was a straightforward flight all the way to the island, so we just can't understand what went wrong at the finish.
Lloyd, can you tell us a bit of the backstory? What were they doing heading out there when they were? What was happening?
There was a ocean-going trawler with a sick patient coming up from this between Macquarie Island and the Auckland Islands, and we decided to position the aircraft into Enderby on the evening to overnight at a dock hut, which was going to allow a little weather front to go through, and we were to extract the patient first thing this morning and come up behind the weather front so that it was all done safely. So the reason for overnighting was just to work in the Southern Ocean the best weather conditions that we could do with the circumstances that were given to us.
So they were basically on a rescue mission, and then they kind of turned into the mission?
Absolutely.
Hey, you mentioned that the EPIRB didn't go off because they had beacons with them, didn't they, but just didn't work?
Yeah, we don't know why that's happened, but that'll be part of the investigation.
So how were they found then? Did someone spot the wreckage, and who found them exactly?
Sir Richard Hayes from our company was one of 3 searching aircraft that departed and went to Enderby Island, and he picked up the last known location and was just making a simulated run onto the landing site at Enderby Island when one of the crew observed orange immersion suits on the beach opposite, and they turned and found the 3 guys standing there.
Have you spoken to Sir Richard?
It's very just briefly on a set phone, but comms weren't that great, but I'll be talking to him shortly. It's been another hour before he gets into land, so I'll have a call from them.
So, Lloyd, when you get the call and they say that these guys are alive, what was that like?
That was just great. No, it was just absolutely great. I can't describe it any better. All my Christmases come at once.
Hey, weren't you supposed to be on this chopper?
Yeah, originally I was, yeah. But I swapped shifts, and I'm sure my offsider won't swap a shift again with me.